I worked for a corporation, and all they did was shady stuff.
And they hammer their customers.
Yeah, the bait and switch, the going after, talking down to women like they don't know plumbing, going after seniors, lying to seniors, working with them for so long, it just wasn't me, and it was getting to me, and it was harder and harder to work for a company like that, because that's not the way I want it to be anymore. 5 years ago, I came into recovery. I threw in a towel, and I said, I'm gonna change my life, and that's what I'm doing, and I'm gonna continue to do it, and it's all gonna be about honesty. I'm not turning back. Although I keep it green, I do always keep in mind that I am one bad decision away from going back. But as long as I keep it green and I help others.
All right, guys, we're here filming episode 21. We have my good friend's father and my good friend as well, Danny Longo from Just Drains. I've known Danny through his son, Alan, and we've built our own relationship independent of that for a few years. Me and Alan are really close, and I've gotten really close with Danny. He's got an incredible story, just of life, being an entrepreneur, starting his business, and being a father. With that said, Danny, I'll turn it over to you. Give us some background on you, and then we'll get into this.
All right. First, thank you guys for having me on. You guys are doing great things. I'm hearing more and more about your podcast, and it's if it hasn't blown up yet, it's gonna real soon.
We appreciate that.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. But my life is crazy. Like where I am. So first word that comes into my head right now is perseverance. Mm-hmm. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm not supposed to be here. Mm-hmm. All my friends are dead, in jail. I got a couple maybe doing good, but out of 30, 40 people, 90 of them are gone. So. I got friends that are doing life, never coming home. Streets of Brooklyn, that speaks for itself right there. When you mention the streets of Brooklyn, everybody knows that you've ran into something that's probably changed your life or turned you into something not good. I'm out here blessed to be here, blessed to be sitting here and talking to you guys. I'm blessed to have my own business with my son, of course. I'm doing something with my son, which every father should do if they have a son. Get involved with your kid, do something, be best friends with your kid. Yeah, we bump heads. My son is stubborn, but...
that's never going to change, just so you know.
No, I know that.
You're going to bump heads with your son in business forever.
But at the end of the day, to have my son... And both, believe it or not, I have twins, boy and a girl. And both of my kids are my best friends. And but to have my son working with me, my best friend working with me, it's all I need. I don't need no friends in this world no more. You know what I'm saying? I got my son, and that's it. Everybody else is acquaintance, and I respect a lot of people. But
a lot of people respect you in turn, too, because I hear people talk about you locally.
Yeah.
Mike Heyer was talking about him the other day at RWC.
Yeah.
Loves him.
Yeah. I try to give everybody respect. I try to, I wasn't always the honest person that I am today. I treat people with respect. And I started a business with my son to give people honest. And here's the funny thing that you wouldn't believe this, but you guys made an impression on me when I first moved down here. Certified. Your father and Tony and Dom.
Yeah.
I think I'm on my 6th or 7th vehicle with you guys.
Yeah.
And from a Ford van, panel van, trying to struggle to do this business, to a Silverado, black cherry Silverado, to Transit, to a Jetta, to a Mercedes, to a box truck. We could keep going. But the thing is I always came back to you guys because business. You guys weren't the gangster salesman.
No, just trying to do good by people. That's it.
Yeah, and you guys were always respectful. You didn't push. You were like, listen, if you don't see anything, come back. We'll have something next week. You weren't trying to push nothing on it. And, that's the same concept that I have today. And it's like I worked for a corporation, and all they did was shady stuff.
And they hammer their customers.
Yeah, the bait and switch, the going after, talking down to women like they don't know plumbing, going after seniors, lying to seniors and working with them for so long, it just wasn't me, and it was getting to me, and it was harder and harder to work for a company like that, because that's not the way I want it to be anymore. 5 years ago, I came into recovery, And I threw in a towel, and I said, I'm going to change my life. And that's what I'm doing. And I'm going to continue to do it. And it's all going to be about honesty. And I'm not turning back. Although I keep it green, I do always keep in mind that I am one bad decision away from going back. But as long as I keep it green and I help others, that's what I do. I'm very involved in it. And the honest, that's part of why my business is so good today, is because the guys that are working for me, plus my son, we're honest with the customers. We don't want that money. We want to do the right job first, then the money will come.
Well, that's the most important thing, at least that I've experienced. And my father always told me, if you have to hurt people to make money, it's not worth making money. So if you're honest with the customer and you have their best interest at heart, you're never going to be perfect. You're going to fuck up a certain job or something's not going to go right. But you acted pure. It's not like you controlled the circumstance. You did right by the customer. They're going to call you again, just like you called us again. And that speaks volumes about your business, your brand, and you and your son and your team as a company.
It sounds so simple. It is that simple. I just don't know why so many people missed the boat. Like when I started in mortgages about 9 years ago, a guy with the same type of traits that you guys are talking about, Bobby Walsh, took me under his wing. And I would be on the phone with, kind of listening to his conversations with the client. And I'm like, why isn't this guy talking about interest rate? Why isn't he talking about closing costs? No, he's developing rapport with these people. He wasn't trying to steamroll anybody. I almost worked at a car dealership for one day. I heard the behind the scenes conversation that they had. They walked into like the manager's office. So I went there just like shadowing people at a car dealership one time. And that's another thing with certified. I'll say that after. But I'm shadowing these people. The client thinks he's paying a certain amount of money on the vehicle. Yeah. They go in, literally say out loud, now we're really going to fuck this guy. Which one did he sign? And the guy signed one, whatever it may be. They made more money. I didn't know the ins and outs, but I walked out. I was done. Yeah. And then fast forward, I went and got a vehicle not too far from here, had a very pushy, weird, awkward experience, payment, all this other shit. Then I walk in and get the 4Runner with you guys, and I had the same experience that Danny did, dude. I walk in, you guys are cool. I'm like, all right, is this the one? Then we end up ordering something from Georgia. The 4Runner came from Georgia, hung around and waited. Nobody was pushing at me. I told them kind of where I feel comfortable payment-wise. You guys made it happen. Like, that's easy. Why does it seem like way higher percentages are doing business ass backwards with intentions of having money, but losing out on money overall? Because like you said, Danny, the money's going to come. You do right now, the money's going to come later. So for me with the mortgages, I might have a tough conversation today. Hey, listen, it's not going to work. Your credit score is not quite there. We'll get your credit score up, do what you got to do, save some more money. Having that honest convo is going to then, without my intentions being this, have them triggered to, hey, their friend wants a house. Hey, call Pete. He's going to keep it real with you. Whether he can help you or not,
Kevin
have a
Lang
combo
was
with
talking
him.
about it the other day with you. You walked him through the process in the beginning. Yeah. Somebody asked him about a mortgage referral, and first thing he did was say, Petey Reilly, and laid out exactly why, and it's just what you're saying. People are short-sighted, especially in certain industries. The way I am and the way I was taught, I'd rather make $1 a day for life than make $5 today and never speak to you again. You have to have that vision down the road. And, for me, it's different. And for you, it's a little different. And you now as well. Businesses locally in the town that you live in, which a lot of people tell you they don't want to shit where they eat. I'm going to shit where I eat because I'm going to do the right thing. But I tell people, I need you to be happy because I don't want you to see my wife or my mom at the food store and throw a gallon of milk at them.
Yeah, bad business practices obviously don't want to keep it home because they know where you're at. They know where to find you. You're doing bad business. You
I'm
want
out
to be
here
out
every
of state.
day, and I'm good with it. My trucks are out here every day.
I could walk around anywhere and with my head up high and not worry about a customer, not even when I worked for the other company because I still did the right thing. And I could walk around, my son could walk around, my workers could walk around where somebody's going to say, you guys did my plumbing. You guys are great. You guys were honest. 50% of our calls that come in now are referrals from people we did work from that loved us. Hey, so-and-so loved you guys. You guys were honest, efficient, in, out. It's no. And, I'm not afraid to talk to people like we knew each other for 20 years. I don't go in here reading no script. I'm not a robot. I'll go in here and joke, curse. I'll curse, too. I'll make jokes, and I make them feel so comfortable away that they want to be friends. It's not about the job yet. It's not about the money. It's It's not about that. It's, I want to show you who I am so you understand what you're dealing with. You're dealing with a father and son business, And like I said, I wasn't always that way, but I was for a long time. And even when I was at my worst,
Right.
I did the right thing too. I got customers when I had my business in Brooklyn who moved out here 20-something years later, still call me today.
Yeah.
Their kids weren't even, some of them weren't even born yet. Some were in diapers.
Yeah.
And they're all, 30s, married with kids, and they still call me today.
Yeah.
That's
And the like I said, the life that I lived is, when I go to speak, I speak at like rehabs and institutions and stuff, and people always like the street stories of where you come. So I try not to glorify anything, but to send a message where you could come out of anything. Anybody could come out of anything. I grew up, my father was killed when I was a kid, and I got raised by my father's best friend, whose name is Alan. I named my son after him, who became my father. Didn't work out with my mother, still was there for me, but I lived with my mother on the streets of Brooklyn, and at about 11 years old, that was it. The streets raised me. I was doing, at 11 years, 12 years old, even though I had lived with my mother, she worked, and I went and did my own thing. I did not want to go to school. I didn't want to do anything. I wanted to make money. I wanted to before I had an addiction, I had addictions. You know how they say that?
Yeah.
That there was always, stealing, and I was breaking into houses when I was a kid for Atari tapes. I don't know if you remember Atari.
Yeah.
I couldn't afford them, so I would know the kids who had them, and I would wait for them to go to school and their parents to go to school, and I'd break in through the cellar door or through the window to steal Atari tapes. So I had such a run in my life that everything wasn't bad, but most people think it was. A lot of it was learning experience. I grew up in prison. I got prison numbers on me to keep me green, state, federal. I did 18 months. I did in a TC. I don't know if you ever heard of a TC, therapeutic community. Okay, so it's physical, verbal abuse. They're illegal now. Or they changed it now to where they don't do things the way they used to back when I was in there. Rough it was. 18 months I did in it because I didn't want to go to jail, right? So coming out of there was in September, right? September, I wasn't even home a hot cup of coffee. And I didn't want to go to prison, so I went there. I wasn't even home a hot cup of coffee. December 6th, I did an armed robbery with my brother Anthony, who's my best friend since we're kids, straight up brothers, and he's dead now. And we did an armed robbery, and it's a funny and embarrassing story. I mean, if you want to hear it, I'll tell it.
Yeah, I want to hear it.
But
I want to hear it. You got me on the edge of my seat.
People love this one, but we did an armed robbery, and of course, I got caught. Did sentenced 2 to 6 years, and I was a bad kid, fights and everything. But so anyway, it was a mob ran place on Staten Island. Okay, I had an inside kid working there. It was a deli that was ran by a mob. Well, it was a Jewish deli, and he would kick back to a mob guy. And every Thursday, the money would be put aside for that guy for Friday for him to come send guys to pick it up, right? And we robbed the place on a Thursday. And when the place closed, me and Anthony, we went in there and with guns, and we held the place up. The place had a train in it. It was a deli with a train inside. So there was 11 people in there, and I held everybody on the floor at gunpoint. And my brother Anthony held them while I made the manager open up the safe. Took all the money out of the safe, got in the car, of course. And the embarrassing part was I didn't know Staten Island. Okay, so when we took off, I actually drove in a circle.
Oh, no.
Right as I'm going this way, cops are coming this way. And they all bust the turn. So I was 20 minutes into that ride.
Oh, gosh.
Well aware of getting away with it. I would have pulled away and walked. I would have still been safe.
Right.
But because I didn't know Staten Island, I went right around. And Staten Island's tricky if you don't know Staten Island. There's a lot of turns. And anyway, went right back in a circle. Cops turn around. They start chasing me. 25-minute chase through Staten Island. It was all over the news, the papers, helicopter, the whole fucking 9 yards. 25 minutes felt like 2 days,
Imagine.
Yeah, that had to be stressful.
Running for your life, bro.
Chasing, I wouldn't stop. Now I'm a kid. I'm 17 years old, right? And not 17. I was 18. And I'm flying with the car doing like 90. I'm driving through circles, big grass circles, and right in the oncoming traffic. And Anthony starts shooting out the window, right? Blows the window out. Now, I don't know if you're ever in a car where a gun goes off. You literally go deaf. Wow.
Yeah, all those movie scenes where they're shooting in close quarters, that's bullshit, bro. I've shot guns. It's fucking loud.
Deaf,
Yeah,
I went.
it's fucking loud.
I went deaf and I lost control of the car, right? Everything was off at that point, just the loudness and the glass shattering. And I went to go make a turn and I hit a fucking concrete wall like a sign, Crown Palace, Chinese restaurant sign, and the car flipped. Anthony got out, helped me get out. I was so fucked up, though. I had, blood everywhere, and I went and hid into the bushes. I ran. He took the gun, took the money, ran, and I ran. Bad luck again, I run into big fucking thickets, thorns. It was like fucking, they were like grabbing me, holding me down. So I just laid there and I tried putting leaves on me, but I heard the screeches of the cop cars, right? And this was like real close. Sounds like it's a distance, it was. This all happened really fast, like car flipping, us getting the fuck out, him helping me out. And the car was on its side and Anthony was tall, so he was able to get out and help me get out. And I told him to go. And I ran into the bushes and I tried putting leaves and shit under me. And at that point, I heard literally cops looking. I could hear them around searching, and I hear right over me, bro. This thing was right on top of me. Had that big ass spotlight, came down, lit me up like these lights right now. And let me tell you, you don't want to know the beating I got. Probably every cop in there dragged me out, hog-tied me with the handcuffs, ripped my pants off of me. Every one of them took a shot at me. You shoot at cops, you shoot at cops. I didn't shoot at the cops, I was the driver. Right. And they knew that too. And
guilt by association at that point.
Not back there, it wasn't bad though. Back then, today, you would have been charged and crucified. Mm-hmm. Back then, no. So they knew I was the driver. At one point, the cops came on the side of me, and they made clear as day, saw me. And anyway, at that point, they fucking ripped the pants off of me, and because they went to go lift me up with the nightsticks, everyone was taking a shot at me, and then my pants were ripped off, and they finally stood me up, took the handcuffs off, and walked me out onto Richmond Road, right, where they had the traffic. They were letting one car. Now I'm covered in blood. I'm in my underwears, embarrassed. I got my head down, and I can't believe this is happening. Like, you know what I'm saying? And finally, I get locked up, and they put me in a car, and every single one of them, I'm in the back seat, and every one of them is opening up the door, hitting me, kicking me. And I'm young, I didn't even turn 18 yet, actually, That was in December. My birthday's in February, so I would have been.
Okay, February what?
1st.
Oh, okay. Happy birthday. Yes,
Thank you.
How old did you turn?
53.
God bless.
Yeah.
God
time
bless.
flies.
I bet when you were 18, you didn't think you could make it to 53.
Yeah, I didn't want to, believe it or not.
Imagine.
Yeah, I didn't really want to.
Yeah, but look at you now.
Yeah. So they put me in a car, everything. They all gave me a beat down, and I barely could see because of the blood and everything, and thorns. The thorns were hurting bad. I was popping thorns out of my legs for a week straight. And after they were all done, this big captain, Irish guy, he comes in the back seat, and he lifts up my head. Look at me, he goes, all right? And he's like, you fucked up, huh? You fucked up? And I went, yeah. And he open hand smacked me and just knocked me right out.
Damn.
Yeah. I remember waking up like maybe on the ride to the precinct. And of course, I got sentenced 2 to 6 years. I didn't give up Anthony. Mm-hmm. And I went and I did my time. I did a lot longer than 2 years because I got in a lot of trouble there. Sure. And I came home and I tried to walk a straight line, but I was poor. I had no money. I had nothing. And I got back involved in the streets, running around. But when I was in prison, believe it or not, that state bid, I learned a lot. I read a lot of books. I took a lot of classes.
You got to make use of your time.
I tried to, yeah. I got my high school diploma in there. I got a fucking picture of a cap and gown with bars behind me. I'm the only white guy in the picture.
God bless.
And a couple of them guys became my good friends for a while, too, after that. But after that, I decided, come home. I came home. I got a job. well, I always did this, the plumbing or the sewer. And when I came back, I made a deal with myself. By hook or crook, I'm never going to be poor again. I don't care what it is I got to do. I'm never going back to being poor again. I'm not going to be that guy that sees everybody get everything and walk around with the same pants on and go to school with the sneakers with the holes in them. Yeah. And when I came home, I just started going after everything. I worked a lot, and then I did other things. I started doing whatever I had to do to make money. I got involved with a lot of bad people, and I started getting high a lot again too. I was getting high back then, but I started getting high, just to, it is what it is. I was addicted, I tried not to get high. I tried to be a weekend warrior. That lasted for a while, and then I tried not doing it at all, and it didn't work out for me. So it became, the more I tried stopping it, the more I did it, because I didn't have a program. I didn't know about all these different programs that are out there, NA, CA, AA, of course. Good programs they are. But anyway, I got involved with some people, and of course, that run did pretty good. I made some money. I was able to invest some money. I thought I was on top of the world. I wound up getting married. I had kids. And I had twins, of course, Alan and Desiree, and I guess all that shit that I was doing finally came back at me. 5:45 in the morning, feds had my whole block closed off. Helicopter up over my house, over my mother's house, news reports, everything. They fucking locked me up, and 108 guys. April 27th, right before September 11th.
Oh, wow.
It was the biggest thing on the news.
Are we getting this? Because it's pretty far from the microphone, and this is fucking amazing.
Yeah, if you can move a little bit closer.
Yeah.
Try to stay
So anyway, so April 22nd, of course, my door gets kicked in at 5:45 in the morning. Bang, yeah, and the whole block is closed off with FBI agents, and 108 guys in 2 days they locked up. We were all over the news. I was all over the news. I was in 7 different newspapers. Nothing big articles, small shit, but I was on the front page of the news. I was the first one out on bail, so when I walked out of the federal courthouse, of course, the news...
40 gallon or
50. The news bombarded me, like, and like I was a celebrity. And because there was so many people on that case, they put us all in what's called global pleas, right? So when they put you in a global plea, that means that you committed the most crimes. Us, we committed the most together. They committed the most together. We all committed crimes, but who did the most together? And they put them in global pleas, and then they would only allow you to plea together. If you don't plea together, you all got to go to trial.
Oh, wow.
So some guys were looking at small time, some guys were looking at big time. So for somebody with small time to say, nah, I don't want to be part of that, you're jeopardizing the guy that's looking at big time.
Right.
And I could have beat it. I could have went. My lawyer was like, they got nothing on you.
Yeah, but if you let Anthony go, you weren't going to let these guys.
Not at all.
Rat on those guys.
No,
yeah.
not even close to it. That's. I always say this too. If I have to go I'm not going back to jail for nothing, unless I'm forced to rat on somebody or to protect my family. Those are the only 2 ways. I'll never look in that mirror and see a rat, ever. And believe it or not, that's against everything that I'm being taught now in NA and recovery. But that's the only thing that I'm holding on to solid.
Well, that's what you learned in the streets. That's what it taught you,
There's
right?
no way I'll ever look in a mirror and see a rat. I'll never walk with my head down, ever.
Because there's been a lot of stories as of late that have come out about ratting.
It's
like in that
cool
community.
now.
Podcast.
Cool
yeah, and
There's
I'm
a
like,
podcast
bro,
with every gangster rat.
that's what I mean.
Yeah,
Sammy the Bull, Michael Franzese.
All these huge names. They were
Michael
giving everything up.
Franzese
It
is
was
doing
against everything.
motivational speaking.
Yeah.
He's getting paid. Sammy the Bull and a couple of guys here, from New Jersey too. And it's crazy. But anyway, so I plead out to my charges with them, and I took the 21 months. I did my time, and when I was in my state
And that was
bid,
Fed time?
Fed time, yeah. But when I did my state bid, I had nothing. I loved it, believe it or not. Like, I was off the streets. I was not poor. I had my 3 meals a day. I had commissary. I was a kid, so I loved it. Got involved with everything. I was a little old. I think I was in my 30s. I think I was 30 when I got locked up. I don't do the mathematics. It's 2001, April 2001. I went away 2002, came home in 2004. But when at my state bid, I had nobody or nothing, so I didn't care. Loved being there, believe it or not. And I know it's crazy. Some people would say, who fuck loves being in prison? Yeah, I did. Yeah. You know, to me, it was freedom for me.
Yeah, I bet.
You know, and that's how horrible my life was, that going to prison was freedom as opposed to being on the street. And then I did my 21 months in the feds, and the only problem with that is I had 2 young kids, 5-year-old, who suffered. And so for those 2 years, I suffered. The phone calls, please, Daddy, come home. Please, where are you? I'm about to cry right now. And it was so rough being away from my 2 best friends, that I says, when I came home, I'm done. I'm Howell, New Jersey, bought a house, never going to look back, never getting involved in anything.
Let's go, baby.
You know what I'm saying? The only problem was I was so out of my element that all I could do was get high to get everything out, because I couldn't make money no more. I wasn't making the money that I was used to. I was making retarded money. I don't even want to, it'll sound like I'm bragging, but for a young kid, I was living a sweet life, but I was doing a lot of bad things. There's articles written about me. You could look up gangland.com and there's a fucking article about me on there, and you would never think it. I was bad, but not. When I say that, it wasn't really me.
You were a product of the environment you grew up in.
And not only that is I just did not want to be poor anymore.
Yeah.
I did not want to live that way anymore. I wanted not what I thought I deserved. I didn't think I deserved it. I just didn't want to live that way anymore. I didn't want to be the guy. The kids had the nice bikes. I had the bike where I put shit together from garbage. I took a little from this guy's garbage. This guy threw something out, and I built my own bike. I built my own fucking skateboard out of plywood.
I love it.
It's like, because I couldn't afford that, and I just didn't want to be that person no more. So, make a long story short, I came out of federal prison, and I came here to Howell, New Jersey. I bought the house, believe it or not, right before I had a self-surrender. I was in Bradford, PA, FCI McKean, and I was supposed to go to Fort Dix, but there was too many people there. So, they sent me further away, and I did my time. I came home, and I, like I said, I was so out of my element, and I couldn't make the money that I was making, and I was depressed, and I started getting high. I learned about Lakewood. Somebody took me to Lakewood, and that Lakewood became my best fucking friend. Prisoner to my house, and I still had, some connections, and I still had things that, a little bit of money coming in, but it got harder and harder, and I got more fucking poorer and poorer, and then I just started getting higher and higher, and then, I had to realize that I need to get a job. I got to get a job, go to work every day. This is who I got to be.
Yeah.
And I went to work. A friend of mine was a manager at the company I was talking about. I got myself a job there. I did, I went to work every day. And I did what I had to do, and I saved money up. And then finally, my son said, let's start something together. And I'm tired. I was tired of working for somebody all those hours. If I'm going to work like a dog, I might as well. I was making great money.
Do it for yourself.
Might as well do it with myself and do something with my son. Yeah. And we decided to start a business, sewer and drain cleaning. Now we're going into the plumbing aspect. And it's doing great. I mean, we started in January, we got 4 trucks. But I want to just take it back a step too. If it wasn't for NA, me being in recovery, I wouldn't have this. Because I was on a road where I probably would have been dead or back in jail.
So now you opened it up to recovery. So I'm going to say now, I know people that you've influenced in your recovery journey that you've stood strong for and tried to be there for, to support and show them the ropes. There's a kid that I know right now who's been around. He sees you at meetings. He talks about seeing you at meetings. He tells me that you kind of are a driving force in him showing up because you're an inspiration to him.
That's what I'm talking about.
That perseverance is what's going to make you successful in business. Everybody faces trials and tribulations. We've talked about it. Your struggle might be different than mine and different than Pete's, but it's put you here today. Yep. You had to overcome. So there ain't shit you're going to see business-wise that's scarier than what you already went through.
Yeah. You probably have just immense gratitude now at this point too. And like, you started everything off with perseverance and then you really painted the picture for us. And I thought I was watching Bronx Tale
Yeah, I didn't
for a
see
second.
it going that way. I'm going to be honest.
I'm not sure what movie it was. Maybe it was Bronx Tale.
It could have been
one
any
of them where the helicopters came. I did. I'm like, this guy
Goodfellas.
telling
He
us
was
a movie
getting followed
Goodfellas.
around by the
They were
helicopter,
following him.
yeah.
I was visualizing all that. So it's like it's almost like it's not even about. There seems to be so much gratitude here that like it's not even about the business and the success. Like you're grateful to be here, to be alive, to have a great relationship with your 2 kids. Things didn't have to be like this. You got to plenty of fork in the roads that you, like you said, you might not have made it to 52, but you could have went so far down the left lane that even looking at this life that you have right now wouldn't even have been possible.
Mm-hmm. I'm humble.
Yeah.
I'm humble. I'm grateful. I don't take a day for granted. I get up every morning. The fucked up part was to it, and I don't wish this on nobody. But another thing, when I share or speak with people at meetings, they love this part because it makes you stop for a minute and think how precious life is, and it's simple. It's simple. I would either be up all night high, or get up and make sure that I had drugs before I went to work to be high all day at work. And now, and I don't know if anybody ever partied here, but you stay up all night and you hear the birds. Like the light comes up and then birds start chirping, and when those birds start chirping, they're fucking with you. They're like, bro, you fucked up. You're still up, bro.
They're singing to you.
They're singing, and you want to fucking jump through the window and choke those birds.
Especially when you're a good-hearted soul deep down inside making those choices. Then they're really singing to you,
they're
bro.
Singing
because
and
you're
they're
listening
letting
in a
you know,
different
but
way.
they're letting you know you fucked up because you're up still high from the night before. But now I get up early every single morning. I have a hobby now. I collect koi fish, expensive koi fish.
Nice.
I have 2 ponds, a huge one and a small one.
Nice.
Once those are big enough, I put them in there. And I have a pit bull. You met Roxy, right? So I get up every morning. I have my cigar and my coffee, and I walk in my backyard with Roxy, and I feed the fish. And every one of these fishes come up, and I sit there and I say, "Who the fuck's life is this?" I'm allowed to curse, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, "Whose fucking life is this?"
I love it.
Coffee, cigar. I'm not in a rush to go nowhere.
Who's got it better than you?
I got my dog next to me. I'm not, and it's nothing. It's nothing but a cup of coffee, a cigar, a moment feeding some fish that fucking love me, and my dog next to me, and then I get to come to work, and I get to hang out with my son all day, and it's like just that alone is like, I wish everybody had that right there. Just that experience of having to have the serenity in the morning and not have to wake up sick, not have to wake up struggling, not have to still be up from the night before. And it's such a simple thing, but such a great gift from whoever, my higher power, which I choose to call God. It's going out into my backyard and being able to smoke a cigar, cup of coffee, feed some fish, and I'm fucking nuts too, bro. They all have names. They all have
You can tell the difference.
Every single
You
one of
ever
them.
worry like a bird is going to swoop down and take them?
They got me already a couple of times.
Oh, I bet.
They got me a cup of Egert. Where's Ian? I had Ian standing there till I ran. Blue hair. I said, stand by the fucking pond. I got it on camera. Stand by that pond. I got to go buy a net. I had him standing there with Roxy so that the thing didn't come back again. Ran, got a net, me and him threw the net over. And then for Christmas, somebody bought me this big eagle that it's on balance and weights. And when the wind blows, it moves.
Nice.
So it looks like it's, but I've lost plenty of them, thousands.
And they're expensive.
Thousands of dollars. The ones I got in my big pond, though, were big money. And I got all fucking names on them. And this is what I do now.
Yeah, but
this is the gift.
You found your peace, though.
Yeah.
And part of that peace is coming to work with your kid.
Yeah. And
So,
he
which is
found
nice.
his peace through suffering immensely for so long that you could have had this same, joy. You could have the cigar, the coffee, and the fish. But if you were doing all the other things wrong, you wouldn't be appreciating those moments.
No,
you could sit there and take a deep breath and say, you're damn right I got through that shit. And you know what? I'm not going to beat myself up about everything I did in the past. It molded me into who I am today. Now I got 5 years under my belt. Now I'm getting in front of all these people, legit changing and saving lives. I was saying before we aired, we need millions of versions of you. There's millions of people that are in the shoes currently that you were once in, and they're trying to get
break that cycle,
those dad New Balances looking clean again in the backyard with a cup of coffee and some gratitude, and they can get there. But the fact that they have somebody like you that could streamline that process for them is such a huge blessing.
And just hearing your story gives somebody hope. You know, there's somebody watching somewhere that's struggling. That hears your success story.
Yeah.
You know, and you're a success not because you're financially successful, but because you found peace and bettered yourself.
Yep.
And you found peace in building a business and a brand and a relationship with your son that I know he loves, appreciates, and truly adores his father. But I'll say it, and I said it to you before. I hope your son tells you every day how special you are to him, because I know 10 years ago I wish I told my father the things I wish I could convey to him now, you know, and it's difficult having that work relationship because sometimes you are going to be at odds. I mean, me and my father used to fight all the time at work, not because we were fighting, but just because different mentalities and personalities. And we could argue and have lunch 3 minutes later and love each other the same.
Same thing.
You know, sometimes there's so much animosity at a moment, and you're always talking about work that you forget the relationship that you do have. And I just hope, and I know that he does, I hope your son conveys to you how much you mean to him and how much of a role model and example you've been to him. Because I know he said it to me. But saying it to me, he needs to say it to you. And just tell you thank you because you've been the example he needed.
Well, I wasn't always there for him.
But you are today.
I am today, and that's the difference. You know, there's still, as a man, I could admit this. As a man, most men won't admit this, but there's still a lot of guilt, a lot of shame. But that's why I stay in recovery, so that I could get that out, I could talk about it. If I kept that to myself, there's a saying, and I know you've heard it, you're only as sick as your secrets. You know, it takes people down in a fucking heartbeat, you know, and I stay in recovery this way. I could continuously work on that, you know, but it takes time. You know, I've been getting high since I'm 15 years old, 14, I've been getting high. So they say it takes 20 years to swim out to sea. It takes 20 years to swim back. You know, I say it takes longer because you're tired.
Yeah.
You don't
You're
get
going against the tide on the way back, too.
You don't get back that fucking easy.
Right.
But
you're right. You're tired. You know,
I'm
and you're
tired.
tired of fighting that life, and you were tired enough to make the change.
Yeah.
You're strong enough to keep it going 5 years in. I know you're an example and a role model for people in town, locally, and at meetings, you know, I'm sure outside of the community. You're fucking crushing it, dude.
Yeah, I
like,
appreciate it, Billy.
coming
Thank
from
you.
where you were and hearing the story. Now, obviously, I know some of the story. I didn't know all the story. But hearing the story and knowing what I did know, outside looking in, I know the benefit that you provide to people, the outlet you provide to people, and the success story that you are and have become. Fuck what happened 20 years ago. Fuck what happened 10 years ago. Today, you are who you are.
Yeah.
Your mistakes, your trials, your tribulations turned you into who you are today. And that's why it's enjoyable for you to walk in your backyard with your cigar and stare at your fish. It's why it's enjoyable for us to share an espresso sitting here, because you know how shitty it could get. You know, I've said it before. In order to enjoy the rainbow, you must suffer through the storm. If you don't know it's bad, you can't appreciate it being good.
So true.
Yeah. I just want to, you know, for anybody that's listening that is struggling, right? I just want to tell a fast story, and it's deep. Somebody just died yesterday in NA. Young kid, 27 years old. It happens all the time. Since I've been in recovery, 24 people. But there's one that hit me really hard. And I forgot his name, so I apologize. I should have had more respect. But I forgot the kid's name. But he was coming to my home group on Wednesday. Blonde Polish kid. Young. At the time, he was same age as my son, but not the age that they're in now. This is a while ago, 5 years ago. And the kid was new. He was a newcomer, and he just took the coffee commitment. And COVID hit, so we had to bring the meeting outside. And it was a newcomer. He had just hit his 90 days, so he was allowed to speak, you know, and they asked him, could you speak, okay? And here's the story that he told, which is fucking heartbreaking him. He said every single time since he's a kid, 13, 14 years old, he's been getting high. And for all these years, his mother didn't speak good English. She was knitting a blanket, right? Knitting a blanket. And finally, years later, Ma, what's with the blanket? You don't stop. It's not done yet. It'll be done. And what is it for? I'm going to bury you in it. She told him. And that got him straight.
Wow.
He fucking walked the straight line. He said, you know what? That hurts so fucking bad, right? So he comes to the Wednesday meetings. And he was doing fucking great. Everybody loved him. He took his commitments. He hit the 90-day mark, which 90 meetings in 90 days is the toughest part, right? And he got to speak, and he just spoke to everybody and said that where everybody was like, look at you. Your mother never has to bury you in it. The next week he went out, overdosed and died. Now his mother's got to bury him with that fucking blanket. And it killed me inside because it was a week after this conversation where everybody was so happy that his mother doesn't have to bury this kid in a fucking knitted blanket that she literally knew it. She knew it. And he made that possible for her, which, you know, he didn't do on purpose, but this is the addiction. So it's not, you know, it's the toughest thing is just, once you're in it, NA, stay in it no matter what. Stay in it and fight, you know, and I think the life gets better. Beyond your wildest dreams, you know. It's that story right there. It did something to me. It made me stay. And I didn't have thoughts of leaving or anything. That just made it solid for me because this time around, I wasn't a first-time winner. You know, this time I threw in the towel.
But it made you continue to stick with the program.
That made it just more. That was just something that added to, you know, a cinder block, another cinder block for me to stay for my foundation. And
this is such an emotional thing for you. Like, I just feel like if we backtrack like 5 years, like, you were probably just trying to get sober like one day at a time. Like, you couldn't even have pictured the morning peace that you have on the daily now at that time.
Not at all.
You know? So
Not
like for those guys, like you're saying, for those guys that are suffering real bad, like we truly feel for you.
Yeah.
Your peace is so much closer than you think. It might take 5 years. It might take 2 years, but it starts today. And it starts tomorrow. Stay consistent. Stay at it. You got loved ones that love you. Even if you feel like you're an island by yourself, there's so many people around you that want you to be better and do better. We're not judging you. Nobody's fucking judging you. We just want you to find that peace that we know deep down you're searching for.
The last day that I called it quits, there was nothing. It was you know, they say in recovery you have a spiritual awakening, right? I had it before I came into recovery, and something just hit me, and I wasn't arrested. I didn't get caught doing nothing. I just gave up. I was up all night again from day, you know, all night again. Had to go to work. Took my wife's car. Went to Lakewood. Called the girl. Hey, can you meet me? Yeah, I'll be there. I drove there. I'm sitting in the spot. She tells me, like a punk, like a fucking coward, sitting there waiting. Where are you? Where are you now? I got my job calling me. It's like an hour now. 15-minute thing turned into an hour. Where? My boss just called me. Where? I'm running a little late. I'll be there. I got my wife calling me now because I got her call. Where? I got to go to work. Where are you? So I'm calling. I'll be there. I had to do something. I'll be there. I'm calling. Where are you? I'll be there in 10 minutes. All right, 10 minutes. I got them calling me. I don't even want to answer the phone for them. My stomach's in knots. And then I call her again. Where are you? I'm coming. Talking to me like I'm a fucking jerk off, like, you know. And this is what I allowed the drugs to bring me to. You know, somebody talking to me like a fucking punk. And this happened for 2 hours now, back and forth. Oh, I'm a block away. What do you mean you're a fucking block away? You told me an hour ago you were 5 minutes ago. And I'm sitting there going nuts, bro. My face. And then I try, 10 minutes goes by, I try calling her again, and the phone's off, right? And I literally start crying like a fucking like a kid, bro. I put my head down and just started crying and banging the steering wheel. What am I fucking doing? Grown man crying, bro. I was crying. I fucking started the car. I drove home. My daughter was in the house, and I walked in the house. I'm done. My daughter's like, what do you mean I'm done? I'm going to rehab. I'm fucking done with this. I'm fucking done, bro. I sat there and cried, bro. Cried like, look what this is. My life has become. Poor, on top of the world, poor. I mean, it's just I couldn't do it no more, bro.
It's a big roller coaster ride.
And bro, I was just banging the steering wheel, and all I wanted to do was die, and I didn't have the balls. I didn't have the balls to kill myself, but I wanted to die so bad. And when I went home, my daughter's like, what happened? Did something happen? And I was like, nah, I'm done. And I knew I was fucking done. And that was it. Call a place, get me in. I'm ready to go. I got to do what I got to do, and that's it. And that started my journey. So I went in with the attitude that, you know, People
were
go
ready
in.
to conquer them.
I went in. I went in surrendering. I went in surrendering. Most people go in kicking and screaming.
Yeah.
Then maybe find surrender.
Do you feel like you have to have a different approach with each individual, or do you feel like things are pretty much, one size fits all? Like,
No.
it's got to be
Some people you gotta
circumstantial, right?
Some people you got to handle with kid gloves.
Yeah.
Some you gotta be hard on
Some tough
sometimes.
love shit. Some you
Yeah.
got to put them right. You got to tell them this is the way it is. Stop already.
Right.
Come on, bro. You know the deal.
Right.
How many times you gonna do this?
I know.
And
'Cause
sometimes
a lot
you
of
get fed up.
Fucking bullshit gets created.
Yeah.
Self-induced bullshit.
Well,
And
that's the
I
biggest
don't
thing
wanna
is self-induced shit.
Yeah, but it's
That's-
like, bro, I don't know, because like we've all had so many people around us that are no longer with us. Some hit households a little bit harder than others, but mine was with my brother-in-law, and like he set records in basketball at Freehold Township. Like his name is still up on the banner. Like he should still be here, and I just remember like the tail end of it. It was just like very, very tough. And if I were just to do things all over again, like I would just have a much different approach. Like I almost wish he went through his battle while I was at the age I'm about to turn 38 next month. I think I was maybe like 29. And I had my own shit. I was trying to get off of alcohol at the time. I was trying to worry about my own shit and wasn't really, giving it the approach that I would now. And like right now, I would just fucking give him a hug and just be like, listen, dude, I know exactly what you're going through right now. Like, I know you're struggling so bad, but I'm here for you. Like, you want to play basketball? You want to go to church? Like, you want to hug? You want to go get something to eat? Like, you need more help? Like, let's just do this. Like, let's do this
Yeah,
together.
but you can't. That's not fair for you to put that on you, because listen, I can't speak on the world of recovery, but what I can speak on is I've helped a lot of people get into recovery. Some people are ready, some people are not. And the minute you make it where you're taking on their shit, now it's toxic for you. And it sounds like you're kind of burdening yourself with a feeling that you could have done more or should have done more. And you can't make that about you. Listen, I'm going through it right now. I had a couple kids went into rehab. One left early. One didn't like whatever it was. It's not my job now. I've given you the tools. If you chose not to use them, that's on you. But like you get emotional about it. And I was emotional about it yesterday and today. I'll be honest. We had a conversation. You can only do so much for people if they don't want to do it for themselves. So like you struggled for a while. You weren't ready until a certain point. Your brother-in-law, maybe things could have turned out different, but you can't put that on you because he was a grown-ass man. And he made the choices he made, and he was around the people he was around. And you either have the wherewithal to say, I got to get away from these people and better myself like you did, or you don't. And sometimes that hug and that let's play basketball, that shit's good for an hour. But you know how many times I gave somebody an outlet and we tried to smooth things out real peacefully? And then there's times where you got to I have kicked in a door for somebody I care about, dragged them the fuck out, and brought them to rehab.
Yeah. Do you feel like a lot of these situations are third parties forcing them in, or some people where you were at, like, hey, it's time? Is it a kind of a blend of both, or more one or the other?
It's probably, from what I see, it's probably them being forced in.
Yeah.
Not too many people.
That's where it gets hard.
Yeah.
People got to be ready.
Yeah.
But how are you ready if someone else forces you?
No,
That's
but that's
my
what I'm
point.
saying.
Like
So-
that's where it gets really, really hard. Like
Yeah.
other people are telling you to do this. You're not.
Yeah.
And it's very difficult to have somebody else forcing somebody in there, and you have to kind of facilitate it and help make it right when
So-
you know darn well that it's not their idea to even be showing up in the first place.
Well,
like that's tough, man.
There's also a couple ways to look at that, right? So like the one example, it happened one time. I had to go to somebody's house. Their mother called me. The kid was ready for help. He was just in a really bad place at that moment and couldn't function. We got him out. We got him help, and he's been straight since, actually. Really proud of him. He's actually probably going to be a guest on here at some point when he's ready to speak and we're ready to welcome him. But the point I was trying to make is some people's situations dictate different. They might be ready, but they might need that kick in the ass. Just like this young gentleman was ready at that moment, but he needed that kick in the ass to just get out of his own way. And then there's some people that say they're ready and commit to X, like just happened to me, and they go overboard with what they think they need, and they can't hold up to it because they're not ready. You know, You just got to try and figure out if you're doing the right thing. And if you're acting in good conscience, that's all that matters.
I mean, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. It doesn't work when you're forcing somebody.
Right.
There has been people, yes, that they got there and then they realized, okay, maybe I can do this. But somebody's got to hit rock bottom. Most people got to hit the rock bottom for them to say, hey, I'm ready to surrender. I'm ready to take that step, the first step. Admitting that we're powerless over our addiction and that our lives have become unmanageable. My life became unfucking manageable, bro. And but in NA, doesn't matter how you got in that room, doesn't matter how you're there, you're there. And then there's another saying that my friend Jeff says, we don't shoot the wounded.
Exactly.
So get them there, and we'll try our hardest to help.
It takes a village. Everybody needs a support system. No one's going to do it by themselves, and if I would never say you got to put people down, but like if somebody is struggling, you got to point it out. Like, bro, you're fucked up and you don't think it's affecting your life, but look at how much better things could be. Like you got a beautiful kid at home or beautiful family, wife, girlfriend, whatever. Something's suffering somewhere. And you got to kind of point that out to make people realize it. If they thought things were terrible all the time, maybe they'd realize it, but they think they've got everything masked, or at least in my experience. And it's just not the case.
Yeah.
Everybody needs a sounding board too.
It's more and more people. It's just more and more every day of dying. They're overdosing. It's fentanyl. It's not the drug. See me, even if I had a desire, which I don't no more, I have no need. I don't have a want or a need anymore. Thank God, right? And the obsession has been lifted. And but even if I decided to, I'm not going back to the drugs that I left there. They're different. It's not the same. It's not what it was I was doing. This is not what I was doing. Mixed shit, this shit, fentanyl, pure, mixed with this, mixed with that. I can't, I never in my life was afraid to die. I'm afraid to die now.
God bless.
Well, because you've embraced such a loving life now. Before in your mind, you probably didn't have much to live for. Now you got two beautiful kids, building a great brand and business. I believe your daughter's getting married. Is that correct?
Yep.
Your son is doing great. He's putting out amazing music, great content here out of his studio. Yeah. And you guys are thriving and smiling.
Yeah, we're all kind of writing our life book. Yeah. Like I was saying.
Well, this podcast is fucking awesome what you guys are doing, because you're actually you're giving people hope, and you're giving people some stories where they're not alone. You're not alone. You ain't unique. You know, you two are going to show people you're not unique. Here's other people's problems like yours.
Just like yours.
Yeah, and everybody has problems. Anybody who tells you they don't is full of shit. I've said it about suicide. If we're being honest, everybody's got to be honest. Everybody's had that thought. I've had that thought, and I said exactly what you said. I'm too big of a pussy to do it. I could never do it. I just don't. I'm not built that way. But I've thought about it a million fucking times. And that's why I'm at this table, because shit gets fucking dark up there.
Yeah, I know that dark feeling. There's no doubt about it.
And especially when you feel alone and it's dark and you're having those fucking thoughts. Yeah. Bro, it gets real fucking scary.
That's when I say you're getting hit with so many lefts, you're begging for a right. That's what Bobby Walsh used to say. And sometimes it's just your own mind. You got all this shit going on, and we're all parents, and that in itself is a lot. And guys are they just handle things different, or whatever you want to call it. We just handle things different than the ladies do. The ladies can kind of vent out to their friends and whatnot. We kind of keep these things festering in and building up, but then now you're carrying the whole household on your back. And when I had these suicidal thoughts, I was on top of this bridge and I broke down crying and thought about my family and just ran home and hugged them all. And I was actually with my kids for lunch earlier. My son is about to be 4 on the 17th of February, and he started getting real emotional when I was leaving today. And I started thinking about when you went to jail and your kids were 5 and they were crying. Like, my little guy was crying. I'm going to see him in an hour. You know what I mean? Like, your kids were crying and they weren't sure when they were going to see you again. So what I've been saying is, like, we're all writing our life book. So I got a few more days for chapter 37. Then I'm turning over to chapter 38. But every day I thank God for the highs and lows, like for the obstacles that have created who I am today. Because like Billy said before, like without the storms, you don't get to see the rainbows. And like I'm finally appreciating the rainbows because I've been through a lot of storms.
Has it
and
made
I know
you
there's-
appreciate the storm?
Yeah, and I was gonna say, I know that there's more storms coming, but my umbrella keeps getting a little bit bigger. Every time I get through these storms, I can weather it a little bit better with that big umbrella. I don't have this umbrella that's blowing away. When those poncho hats blowing away by the next storm, I can kind of hold it with a little more grace and, you know, be a little bit stronger for the next one that comes.
Well, in relation to that, what I found great peace in lately, we've had a couple good runs of some decent storms, and I have a covered porch at my house. It's under like a little overhang. I have some chairs out front. I will go sit on my porch and just listen to the storm.
It's nice.
Yeah.
It's soothing, but I've also learned to appreciate that. Like, now I don't know if that's like a weird, like psychosomatic thing that I'm now embracing.
Calming, that sound.
Yeah, but I'm also finding, in the moment, I don't find peace and turmoil like in my life. But after the dust settles a little bit, I appreciate the struggle that was, whether it was a fight with my wife or an issue at work or, you know, my kid not doing something, whatever it is. I've kind of learned to take it and put a spin on it a little bit. Not in the moment. I'm an animal sometimes. And I'm okay with that. I'm trying to better myself, but I've learned to appreciate the storms because it can't last. It does not last.
Yeah. You know what I got to do? I got to get you a woman here. Like, you know, in recovery, I got to get somebody to sit up here, a woman, to tell her story. The women
do.
got it so much worse than the fucking men when it comes to this addiction. You know,
our
I
friend
think
Michelle
so. I know Michelle well.
Our friend,
Yeah.
He told me that.
Yeah.
Bobby was the one that changed my life.
Yeah,
He
I
actually
heard
got me
great
to
things.
stop.
I didn't know him, but I heard great things
He
about
actually
him.
got me to stop drinking.
Really?
Bobby had a
Yeah.
great influence on a
A
lot,
lot
of
of people.
Yeah,
I heard
had a
that.
seizure on their front lawn. And Bobby says, I don't know what the fuck you're doing, but if you want to still work in this mortgage company, you better fucking figure your shit out. And then my friends called me, and I said, okay, you guys are right. I'm fucking up bad. I got this 2-month-old at home. I know I'm letting everybody else down. I'm letting myself down. It's fucking brutal, man. I hate this shit. And thank God. But you were saying the ladies got it.
We got to get you guys got to get I'm going to find somebody, or yous could find somebody.
Yeah.
We can find
Okay.
somebody. Remember, this
We.
is a community and
Yeah,
a fucking
together.
team and family,
Yeah,
bro.
we got to
Remember
get
that.
a girl with a story
Yeah, I
that'll
love that.
rock some of the people in NA and send a message to the women that are out there struggling, because I hear the women's share. When I hear the women's share, it breaks my fucking heart. You know, it just breaks my heart. The men could go through a little bit tougher, and I hope nobody takes this the wrong way at all. I'm favoring the women. I'm trying to, you know, but men could deal with things a little bit different. What women got to go through is just a little bit more dangerous, a little bit more
I can imagine.
degrading.
Well, it comes with
I
a lot
can
more.
imagine,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah. So to hear, I have a lot of powerful girls in my network, and they're strong, powerful, with time, with recovery. It's not just time. See, people think the guy's got 25 years. Well, 25 years. Does he have recovery? Does he work in a program? Is he giving back? Is he helping people? That plays a big part too. You know, I mean, a guy could have 25 years and still do the same bullshit that he was doing, just not putting a drug in his body. He could be miserable. He could still be doing all the stealing from the fucking store. You know, but these women that I have in my network and in my home group are powerful. And when they speak, let me tell you something. You sit and you just stop and listen. You know,
Bring 'em
so
in.
we got
Well, we talked about my friend
in.
that reached out. That actually, she's a woman, big fan of the podcast. We discussed her coming on that one time. She reached out, and I should follow up because I haven't heard from her. She's ducked me a few times, but she's had a long battle, and some of the shit she told me, bro, like, it's fucking scary. Like, as a dude, I could walk into any situation, and I'm pretty comfortable. With myself as a man, I'm comfortable. You put yourself as a woman in a lot of situations, you might be fucked up.
Yeah. It's tough. I think when a woman speaks, a lot more people pay attention. To when a guy. I think a lot of time. This is just for me.
Yeah, but that's
you know,
the stigma that, like, in most cases, we're supposed to be the strong, stoic, sturdy.
Yeah.
Women are supposed to be emotional and
Yeah.
This is going to sound terrible, but a little weaker or, whatever.
Yeah.
We're supposed to stand tall at all points. So, it's different. It's totally different.
Oh, the shit that these women go through, it's I'm not saying they should get a pat on the back, but let me tell you, they should be handed the stamp of NA.
Fuck yeah.
And say, here, pass this forward to everybody else because you fucking earned it. Mm-hmm. And I know I'm speaking for the girls in my network and the girls in my home group. They're all powerful.
Let's go.
And I'd like to see if I could get somebody to speak for you guys, for us, for
awesome.
this podcast.
That would be incredible.
Yeah, and
as long as you keep saying us.
We're
good with that.
Yeah, there's no doubt. So, yeah.
Yep, better together, man.
Yeah. Petey used to say, or he said it a few times, it's like we're tying rafts together to weather the storm or the waves in the water. A little more stability every raft. So it's us now. So you call me anytime. You knew that. You could call me anytime before. You call Petey, you call Ev. Everybody watching, you could reach out to Danny too. Call him at Just Drains. I don't care. I know he's going to answer the phone and want to help.
100%.
If not, Alan will pick up for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Alan's going to try and sell him like a sore line or something.
Yeah. Alan's going to try to sell you a water jet first. First, let's try to jet the line first. He loves that water jet. He spent $30,000 on it, so he's trying to get it out there a lot more.
Got to use it then.
Yeah, so, it. Anyway, guys, listen, I'm so honored to have, this helps me. I hope it helped other people too, but it definitely helps me sitting here.
It's therapeutic, right?
It's therapeutic. It's good. It's good conversation. You know what? And it's. I know you guys a little better. You guys know me a little better. It's more respect for each other now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I had a lot of respect for you before. So
Same here, man.
We're just moving up a couple notches.
Yeah, thank you.
Same here. And we've only had a few conversations over the last 21 weeks, but mad respect for you. And I knew you were going to have nothing but great stuff.
Yeah, I thank you guys
I
for
hope we
having
can
me
get you on again.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
All right, guys. Anybody wants to reach out to me, Pete, Danny, anybody on the team. We're here to help. Anybody who's struggling, whatever it is, addiction, mentally, suicidal thoughts, we're here. Click the links, like, share, subscribe. We appreciate everybody's support and input. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next week.
Awesome.
Bro.